Wednesday, May 25th. How's everybody's legs doing? How about we do a strictly upper body day? Does that sound good? And plus, Thursday will be a distance running and distance running only kind of day. So hopefully things are starting to feel like purposeful, right? Here's what we got today. We're going to do our pulling stuff, but the nice thing about today is, with the pulling, is that everything you do, so 3 accessory movements as usual, all of them are 3 sets out of 10. And that was done purposefully to accommodate us because today will be the first time in 3 weeks where the strength is superset style. That means you do an exercise from part 1, and then you do the exercise from part 2, and then you do the exercise from part 3 before starting over again. And I'll explain why that is. Today we're doing that because we need the benches. We need like the benches we usually bench press with for a movement called bat wings. And in order for everybody to have access to one of those benches in a timely manner when they need it, we can just offset and do supersets. So you'll do part 1, part 2, part 3, and some people could even start on the bat wings to accommodate everyone, and it's fine, right? As long as you do all 3 movements. I don't particularly care too much about the order of things, right? Otherwise, outside of that, let's think of today as a little bit of a midterm, right? We're going to have Group A working on banded pull-ups. You have a set target in mind. Watch the video for that because I give some very specific instructions on what I'm looking for, but bottom line is, don't use too easy of a band. You have 10 for a reason, and I want that 10th pull-up to be pretty difficult, right? I want to find the perfect band for you, and that would tell me that you found it. Group B. You're doing a max set today, midterms. We'll see if you've gained any. You said you could do 1 to 5 reliably. Well, I'm going to ask you to prove that today. All right, so check that out, or I'm sorry, don't check anything. There's no video for you because we're just doing regular strict pull-ups. But you know the range of motion we're looking for. Chin goes fully over the bar, and arms lock out fully at the bottom. That's our standard for a strict pull-up. Group C, you're going to do something similar. You are doing weighted pull-ups, and I'm going to give you a target weight of 20 pounds because that's the Murph weight for men, and 14 pounds because that's the Murph weight for ladies, and see what you can do with a max set. Right? I'm not expecting huge numbers, but I'm hoping for more than 5. If you can't do 5 at those weights, then you have options. I would drop the weight first. If not 20 for the guys, can you do 10 pounds and try to knock out a max set? Let's go for max sets that are higher than 5 in volume. All right. Other than that, there's some instructions written on the whiteboard that might be helpful to you. We'll see. What else do we have today? This should be the easiest WOD of the week. And I keep saying that on these Wednesdays. I know it's not always true, but it's kind of designed to be a not intense workout, but rather more like a WOD that is a bodybuilding WOD, if that makes sense. So not a laying on the floor, grasping for breath type of workout when it's over, but more of like a, oof, these muscles will be sore tomorrow type of thing. And again, it's all upper body. So what is it? 10 pull-ups. This is an EMOM, 16 minutes of 4 rounds, and one of those minutes is a rest, so that's nice. The first minute is 10 pull-ups. Just like last week, I'm asking you to find your most challenging pull-up variation and do 10 of something. So if you have strict pull-ups, but you feel like 5 is where you draw the line, then you do 5 strict pull-ups and then 5 kipping pull-ups, assuming you can fit that into a minute. Or you do 5 kipping pull-ups and 5 ring rows, whatever it is you, and keep in mind a minute is still a long time. So even if it takes you to butt right up against that minute, I want you to challenge yourself to something difficult. I just started out by saying this is the easiest workout of the week, but I want you to figure out a way to make it not that. I want you to figure out a way to make it feel successful, challenging, and meet yourself where you're at in order to do that. What else do we have? Minute 2, renegade rows. But it is one of those things where you're parallel to the ground, so you have so you're in a plank holding on to 2 dumbbells. You do a push-up and then a renegade row with your left, a push-up and then a renegade row with your right, and you do 4 per side. And the bottom line is technique is important here. Now, a whole minute is a long time for that as well, so you can challenge yourself to some heavier weight, but only if you promise to not have your hips way up in the air. It should be as close to a keeping your hips parallel to the ground plank as possible. And where you can make it easier on yourself is to spread your legs out for balance. That will help. All right. Make sure that you're using a weight where the row brings a dumbbell all the way up to make contact with your chest. That's how we'll know that you are in control or using the right weight. All right. After that, it's a full minute of plank. All right. And that may sound like, wow, way too much. Can't do all that. If you feel like you need to break a plank up into, say, 2 sets of 30 seconds with a 10-second rest in between, you can steal some rest from the final minute, from the 4th minute. That is possible. You're allowed to do it. It doesn't extend the WOD for you. You're making a compromise. That is not the only option, though. The other option would be, give me something that you can consistently do. If that's a 40-second plank, 40 seconds of that minute, fine. Do that every round. Or push it. See how far you can go in the first minute, and then try to give me that in rounds 2, 3, and 4 as well. Because you always have a minute of rest. Keep that in mind. Give us the best effort that you have on this one, and I promise you'll feel successful. All right, enjoy.